from Brandon Sudge and Anthony Dasher.
Hey Azeez, I wanted to ask you about the Auburn Georgia rivalry. Did you ever watch any games through high school growing up? Do you know anything about the history of that?
Oh yeah, I definitely watched a couple games. Came here as a recruit actually to some of the games, and the SEC championship that was a big one for sure. So it's always a good big rivalry.
Hey, Aziz, I know I'm not sure how much you even worry about this or pay attention to this, but when all the preseason all conference teams were announced, your name was oddly missing. It seemed like from a lot of those. Does that give you any kind of a motivation? Is that something you worry about, care about?
Yeah, I really don't look at those, but you can say his motivation is just keep going hard and just to motivate myself to just prove everybody wrong.
Okay.
Next two questions from Julian McIntyre and Connor Riley.
Hey, Aziz. So with Auburn at home, a night game under the lights, how do these factors and in themselves excite the locker room, and how can these make a difference to making those big stops?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be big. It's a top 10 matchup for sure. We're gonna be ready to play. It's gonna be an exciting moment for the team. We're just gonna go out there and work hard, play hard.
Hey, Azeez, Nolan had, I think, 1.5 sacks last week. What have you sort of seen from him this camp, and what did you see from him in the Arkansas game where you thought he played really well?
Oh, yeah, man. Nolan's just been coming out here working hard every day. He's relentless in his pursuit. He just works on different moves. He just continues to get better.
Next two questions from Palmer and Chip.
Hey, Azeez, wanted to ask you about matching up with these offensive tackles. Jamari was saying that it was really complimenting y'all's room. What have you seen out of that group, the offensive tackles?
Oh, yeah, man. We're always going at it at practice every day, just getting each other better, just working off each other, just learning new things, just competing every day at practice. So it's great having them just to be able to compete hard, good on good, just gets everyone better.
Azeez, may be weird answering back-to-back questions about your own teammates, but I was wondering specifically about Georgia's tight ends group. There's a lot of those guys now, and it seems like, John Fitzpatrick is huge. Now you got Big O in there, and there's a lot of those guys. Just what's your view of the tight ends? I'm assuming you guys get to run into each other a good bit out there on the practice field.
Oh, yeah, man. Tight ends are just great players. We go out there and compete against them every day, just like we do with the O-linemen. We just continue to get each other better. They're a great group of guys, so we just continue to compete with each other and get better every day off each other. So.
Mike Griffith, then Dean Legge.
Hey, Azeez, I was listening to the Auburn coach. He said about 1/3 of the guys on their team are from Georgia. I was going to ask if you knew any of those guys, and did Auburn come after you? And what's their sales pitch? What does Auburn say to a Georgia guy do they cite how close they are? And do you think that affects this rivalry a little bit maybe? Yeah,
definitely it is. About the area is kind of close to, so they definitely try to get a lot of Georgia guys to go over there. It's a great school, so, it's an opportunity too, so. Yeah, it's pretty much.
You know anybody there at Auburn? Do you have anybody who are some of the guys you know there you played with or played against maybe?
I know the linebacker, Owen Petpo. That's really pretty much it, really.
Azeez, were you surprised, or do you get surprised when your offensive line struggles to kind of get going in the run game at beginning of games, or do you think that's something that's just going to happen over time?
I think we got a great group of offensive linemen here. We're coming in, they just focus on the game plan, do whatever coach wants them to do. They're going to go out there and compete, give it all they got, and execute, to be honest.
Jake Rowe, then Seth Emerson.
Hey, I've got the question for Jake.
I'm good. We don't. You can go ahead, Palmer.
Okay, Seth, go ahead, please.
Really, me? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Seth.
Okay. And at Arkansas, with the crowd noise and with some fans in the stands, did you notice what was fake noise? What was real? How did it contribute, take away from the atmosphere? Just what was your experience with it?
Nah, it sounded pretty real, actually. I'm pretty sure they had some fake noise with it, but with the real noise. But it sounded kind of real, actually. So it sounded
Did you
normal.
feel like you were playing at a hostile visiting environment?
I don't think it was as hostile, but it was pretty loud. It wasn't like normal, but it was pretty loud.
Our last question for Azeez from Mark Weiser.
Yeah, along those same lines, I was going to kind of ask, did you hear anything in a stadium during a game that you normally wouldn't hear when there's, 65,000 in a stadium like that? Did you hear the opposing coach, or did you pick up anything that you normally wouldn't?
Not really. It was not really. It's just that kind of it wasn't as loud, but it was still pretty loud. So just felt normal, really. Nothing crazy.
Okay.
Azeez, thank you for your time.
No problem. All right. Thanks.